Hey y'all, today we're watching Alfred Hitchcock's Rope. This movie was made in 1948. It has the famous James Stewart, and we've seen a number of Hitchcock films such as Birds, Dial M for Murder, Rear Window, Psycho, Vertigo. We grew up watching a lot of his films, that's why. He's famous, and obviously we know Jimmy Stewart from Rear Window and Vertigo, yeah. Great actor too. But Rope, we never really watched. So now we're going to give it a shot, and yeah. So let's get right to it. Kind of weird to see a Universal logo on a film that was made in 1948.
The CGI at that time was really good.
Yeah, no. That's a good job.
Yeah.
Wait, so it goes from Universal to Warner Brothers?
Well, yeah, I was about to ask you that.
Maybe it was distributed by Universal later.
James Stewart.
James Stewart. Alfred Hitchcock's Rope. So it's going to be like a murder mystery, right?
Could be a romantic film.
It has that kind of soundtrack. Birds is one of his films that's kind of weird. Like, it stands out from the rest. Like, it's just kind of weird as a movie.
Haven't seen that in so long.
But I remember being terrified by the scene where she gets pecked, right?
In that room.
Yeah, in that room.
Back then, there wasn't as many people behind a movie compared to nowadays.
Yeah.
We have an entire...
You can show the entire credits here very quickly.
For like 7 minutes.
Before a modern movie, you have to show like 200 names from the VFX team. So, yeah. But it's possible there could be a lot of people being left out.
It's possible, yeah. That's true.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
You can see him moving the camera. Like, kind of moving it. Yeah, see, he's making final adjustments. That's neat. Uh-oh.
Open it.
So these two just murdered somebody.
Don't.
Got to see if this...
I know. Let's stay this way for a minute.
The other guy is more calm about it.
Yeah. This movie's so quiet, it's kind of scary.
Nobody ever feels really safe in the dark. Nobody who's ever a child, that is. I'll open these, all right?
Oh, nice.
Wow.
The background's painted in or whatever. That's cool.
A lovely evening.
It just started out with murdering somebody.
Good. You better put those away. Put them in my checkbook drawer behind that metal box.
Oh, why would he mention that? Like Chekhov's gun to blow up later. Because they showed it.
Yeah.
Even old movies follow this rule. Or they started this rule.
David Kentley had his last drink. It should have been ginger ale or even beer.
Wow, he's like a sociopath.
I always thought it was,
It's okay with murdering him.
For David to drink anything as corrupt as whiskey.
Out of character for him to be murdered, too.
Yes, wasn't it? You preferred Kenneth?
You, perhaps. You frightened me. From that very first day in prep school.
This is a one shot so far, right? A lot of memorization.
You were certain it would come off, weren't you?
Of course. You know I'd never do anything unless I did it perfectly. I've always... You're not really frightened anymore, are you, Philip? You can't have fear, you know. Neither of us can. That's the difference between us and the ordinary man, Philip. They talk about...
So obsessed with this perfect murder idea.
Nobody commits
Perfect
murder
crime.
just for the...
Brandon, how did you feel during it?
Don't know, really. I don't remember feeling very much of anything.
Wow.
Brandon, you don't think the party's a mistake, do you?
The party's the inspired finish.
Gonna have a party?
Well, it's more. It's the signature of the artist.
Have a party to celebrate a murder.
Thanks to the party.
Oh, rot. This party will be the most exciting ever given.
Oh, rats.
We did have to have them. After all, they are David's mother and father.
That doesn't make them any easier to...
She's banked everything on hooking David. Somehow, I don't think she's going to succeed.
Oh my god.
Take the other one.
What for?
Never mind. Come with me.
I love how you can just see he's been seized with an idea. It's just great acting.
He reminds me of Tony from Dial M for Murder. Like the same kind of smugness and charm and...
What the devil are you doing?
Making our work of art a masterpiece.
Are you
Brandon,
serious?
You're going too far.
I just thought it'd be nice to have supper in here. On this.
No one will ever check.
Isn't it?
At least this way no one will try to open it.
I don't think you appreciate me, Philip.
Hardly getting to, Brandon. How are you going to explain this to him? I'm not.
We don't want to leave our guest of honor alone during supper.
He's so seized by this idea.
We have a very simple excuse right here. What are you worrying about, Philip? After all...
Oh, there's the one take that cut it.
Considerate, aren't we? Most
They're both scared immediately. Just for a second.
Yeah, startled too.
Yeah.
You start on the books.
Who is it?
Mrs. Wilson.
Where did he put the rope that he killed the man with? That's not it, right?
Oh.
Oh, I guess it is, judging from his reaction.
Yeah, I saw it earlier, but I didn't think much of it.
I won't let either of us stoop.
Tormented by guilt already.
He's just gonna walk around with the rope?
You owe me $2.40 for taxis, including the tip, for throwing away our good money. So I went downtown.
$2.40.
I know, I wanted to say, but including the tips.
What, may I ask, is happening to my table?
We're just moving the things in here. And I'm sure you wouldn't want the poor old man to have to get down on his knees to see them.
Well, I think it looks downright peculiar.
Smart.
Very.
They suggest a ceremonial altar, which you can heap with the foods for our sacrificial feast.
He's putting his foot in it.
She'll be the death of me. What's to be done with the books?
Oh, we'll lay them out on the dining room table.
Well, I have too much to do to discuss this thoroughly, dear. However, I still think it's peculiar.
It's only a piece of rope, Philip, an ordinary household article. Why hide it? It belongs in the kitchen drawer.
Oh, nice.
That was great.
Yes?
That was
Very
great.
smooth.
Waiting for the door to open just to do that.
Well,
It looks a bit like Henry Cavill. I don't know why.
He's the one man who might appreciate this from our angle, the artistic one. That's what's exciting. Intellectually, he could have come along. He's British.
Rupert, I assume, is Jimmy Stewart, maybe?
don't you be so busy at that piano that you don't eat anything, getting too thin. And don't you let them gobble up all that patty full and let those whole...
Now the fun begins.
He's like having fun. But Philip is not.
Hello, Kenneth.
Oh no.
Good to see you.
Different guy.
Been up to much lately? Oh, nothing to speak of. You?
Why is it I'm always too early at parties?
Probably because you're always on time. Mrs. Wilson, champagne.
It isn't someone's birthday, is it?
Don't look so worried, Kenneth. It's really almost the opposite.
The opposite.
Philip's
He loves hinting that.
Where are you going?
Just to Brandon's mother's place for a few. I'm to be locked up.
That's the champagne. Bring up
make sure he practices 6 hours a day. I finally wangled a debut for him.
That's wonderful. I hope you knock him dead.
Thanks.
The writers had so much fun with this.
Yeah.
Think so?
It's like a pretty small farewell party.
We're really killing two birds with one stone. The party's also for Mr. Kentley.
They did kill two with one stone.
Janet Walker.
Janet. Yes.
I thought you'd be glad to see her.
Janet and I are all washed up. Didn't you know?
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't.
I love the manipulation.
I won't by the time it's all paid for. Is that funny? I never
Good
know
one.
when I'm being funny.
What would you say to some champagne?
Hello, champagne? See what I mean about trying to be funny?
For whom this time?
Oh, an untidy little magazine known as Allure.
I like the beeps.
Oh,
You can hear the car beeping.
I could really strangle you, Brandon.
Oh my god.
Oh,
At times, your sense of humor is a little too malicious, chum.
what are you chattering about?
I love the writing. The writers are having so much fun with
You
this.
know perfectly. We called it quits ages ago, and I'm practically engaged to his best friend.
David?
Yes, David.
Like she's pointing at him through the wall, then he doesn't.
Ginger Peach.
He knows
After me came Kenneth. Now it's David.
who they just killed.
Switch from Kenneth to David anyway. He's certainly richer.
That's a new low, even for you, chum.
All right.
How many years has it been since I said, oh,
He's smiling.
who is he?
Rupert Cadell. He was our housemaster at prep school.
Ah, so that must be.
For you.
For example, he thinks murder is a crime.
You see him like tighten up.
Privilege. Well, I searched high and low. I
It's
don't
all
know
right,
where it
Mrs.
is.
Wilson. I'll answer the door. Oh, Mr. Kentley, so glad you could come.
Thank you, Brandon.
It's just my second party. I suppose it's only fair that
Let
say
me take your thing.
Thank you.
Sorry to hear Mrs. Kentley so ill.
Oh, it's just a cold.
You know, it's now surreal. I realized that all these people are dead.
I hope Mrs. Kent is
Yeah.
staying in bed.
Yeah.
I was down for 3 weeks. The doctors were
excuse
just
me.
about ready.
This way, Mrs. Atwater.
Is that on purpose? It looks like she's wearing like a funeral.
Could be.
This is,
With
you
Hitchcock.
this is-
Oh, that's all right, Anita.
Kenneth is often mistaken for David, even by people who aren't nearsighted. We haven't had much opportunity to observe the resemblance lately, my boy.
Did he just break that?
Yeah,
How
he did.
exciting! I hurt his hand.
Bleeding.
Oh, dear.
I finished working out your horoscope just before we came.
Oh, tell.
They indicated marriage very soon. For a tall, fair-haired young man.
Fair-haired young man. Could be.
Oh, come and eat.
I expected him to come with you.
He called and said that he'd meet us here. He was at the club studying for his examination.
He mentioned why he killed David.
For the perfect murder.
The trouble with David is he doesn't have to study.
David does all right, very much so.
Thank you. How's Mrs.
David does very well. He's like indicating her.
I hope David arrives soon. She wants him to call her.
David's her only child, Mr. Kentley.
Oh
my God.
That's sad.
Mind taking this into Janet?
Sure. Why?
No particular reason.
He's setting her up
Yeah,
with him
he's
because he knows
setting
David's
them-
dead.
Yeah,
Bedroom telephone.
of course.
Then you'd like David to walk in.
Oh, no, that'd be too much of a shock.
When will you walk?
That would be too much of a shock.
That line's really hilarious. He's having so much fun too. He's like
Yeah.
hinting here.
Born on
It really plays like a theater play.
your cancer. Good fingers, strong, artistic. These hands will bring you great fame.
I'm sure it will.
Of what? Of your collection, so to speak.
Oh, yes, of
He's
course.
very stricken.
Play. How lovely.
You can see the weather changing outside slightly. Like they probably replaced the paintings in the back.
Wow, they probably had to prepare.
Oh, there he
many-
is.
There he is.
I was beginning to think you weren't going to show.
You know me better than that.
Mrs. Atwater, may I present Mr.
Like
Rupert?
just shows
Oh,
up
even
unassumingly.
he's nervous. A bit.
Yeah.
Oh, Miss Walker.
How'd you know?
Brandon's spoken of you.
Did he do me justice?
Do you deserve justice?
Well,
That eye roll. What was that?
You told me that too, Brandon.
did I?
Yeah.
Well, I thought I'd make it sort of...
Man, I'm nervous.
Yeah. I've never
Therefore,
seen him so off
champagne.
guard.
Yes, it's true.
He's not even like trying to be.
Stutter when you were excited.
Nice.
Yes, I'm always excited when I give a party.
Really?
Mr. Cadell.
Oh, Miss Wilson.
Wow.
Man, it's transformation from like an excited schoolboy.
Got that special patty you like.
I don't like it anymore.
Oh, Mr. Brandon, I found it.
I haven't the least notion what it was she lost.
Should we really put candlesticks on like this cabinet thingy?
Yes, where is David?
I haven't the faintest idea, but he's so late, Mr. Kentley.
He's so nervous.
Yeah. Or excited.
Me, I'm hungry.
Brandon, exactly
Great acting
what is
too.
this?
He
Yeah.
transformed from a confident dude to excited.
I mean, why are we...
Yes, that's right.
Unfortunately, it had a spring lock. 50 years
That's
later, they
great.
found her skeleton.
There's so much going on.
Yes.
Would you all please help yourselves?
Talking of skeletons, have you seen...
And I like the way he comes into the frame to remind them about food and then leaves
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
I didn't like the new girl much. Definitely Scorpio.
I'll take Cary Grant myself.
Oh, so alike.
Cary Grant.
So much...
Yes.
Absolutely.
Oh, he was living in that new thing with Bergman. What is it called now?
I love how they talk about the actors of that era.
Hitchcock has worked with them too.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Yeah.
So it's like a meta reference. He did
Yeah,
meta
yeah.
stuff before meta was a thing.
That's funny.
It was just plain something, I'm sure. I adored it. Bergman.
She's the Virgo type. Well, what did you see her in?
I don't quite recall the something.
If I were you, I'd go easy on the patty, dear.
Come on, Kenneth,
Calories.
don't be polite.
Because she wants to save it for Philip.
Mrs.
Little of both on this for Mrs. Atwater.
What about you?
I don't eat it.
How queer. I never heard of anyone who didn't eat chicken. Freud says there's a reason for everything. Even me.
There's no reason, Jet.
And in the yard, Philip was doing likewise to the necks of 2 or 3 chickens.
Oh, dear.
Oh.
It was the task he usually
She was
performed
about to
very
enjoy her meal too.
Like Lazarus, he rose.
That's a lie.
Philip.
I never strangled a chicken in my life.
Now look here, Philip.
I
Just because
never strangled a chicken, and you know it.
But it just seemed very funny, you two being so
Mm.
intense about it all. Now, you don't really approve of murder, Rupert.
Oh, so this is how they start discussing it.
May, and I do. Think of the problems it would solve. Unemployment,
You can see the smoke in the back.
Yeah.
standing in line for
What's it called? You know.
the something with what's her... My dear Miss... They are in the death by slow torture, along with bird lovers, small children, and tap dancers.
Oddly specific. Why these guys?
And as such, the privilege of committing it should be reserved for those few who are really superior individuals.
Yes, he's eating up every word.
Now, mind you, I don't hold with the extremists who feel that there should be open season for murder all year round. No. Personally, I would prefer to have...
So he promoted the purge before it was a thing.
few who are privileged to commit murder.
And just who might they be?
Oh, myself, Philip, possibly Rupert. I'm sorry, Kenneth, you're out. I'd hang them first for being stupid. I'd hang all incompetents and fools anyway.
Perhaps you should hang me, Brandon, for I confess I'm so stupid I don't know whether you're all serious or not. In any case, I'd rather not get...
And I'm afraid I let myself get carried away.
Oh, that's quite all right, my boy.
He did get carried away, though.
May I use the telephone first? I'd like to talk to my wife. She may have some word of David.
Of course, it's this way.
Dear, I'm afraid.
Brandon.
I love the dialogue in the back too, it's natural.
Aren't planning to do away with a few inferiors by any chance. I'm a creature of whim. Who knows? I see.
Jeez.
God, he's like straight hinting it.
You know, when I was a girl, I used to read quite a bit.
Oh, we all do strange things in our childhood.
What's that?
Why don't you...
I should think you'd have the decency to be embarrassed yourself.
Why?
You threw me over, chum, remember? My wouldn't friend Brandon love to know that?
Don't you kid with David, too?
I relax with David. Thanks to you. Grim Sunday at Harvard, and you called it quits.
You're like talking about this over his body.
Yeah, no.
Wait. You mean before I got here, Brandon knew we had broken
He even
up?
knew about you and David.
What? Kenneth, he pretended to be completely ignorant when I told him. He
What's
said...
going on here, anyway?
I don't know. Find out once and for all. Just exactly what are you up to, chum?
I'm up to getting you a coffee, if you like.
Let's dispense with the charm.
I think that's precisely what I said,
It's
Kenneth.
what you implied, and I want to know why.
Some women are quite charming when they're angry, Janet. Unfortunately, you're not.
Cut that out, Brandon.
Oh.
He's never this late. He's never late at all. And if something had come up, he'd have phoned. I think you deliberately arranged it so that he wouldn't come.
How clever of me.
He did arrange something.
He did arrange something like that.
He seems to be missing David. As a matter of fact, I'm beginning to miss him myself.
There's the cut. I love.
Well, the others don't seem to be in the mood for ice cream.
No, though they could all do with
It looks so good.
That does.
But then when I was whisking out to do the shopping, he suddenly told me to take the whole afternoon for it.
Did he say why?
No, just a whim, I suppose.
So at first he wasn't really curious, but now it's getting to him more and more.
Now, Mr. Goodell, even if I did know, do you think I'd tell?
Well, I hope so.
Not me. I'm like the grave.
I'm like
like
the
the
grave.
Why did you serve from here, anyway?
It wasn't my idea. So listen, here's the apple.
It's making him panic too.
Yeah.
Is she still harping on her table and how awkward it is to serve from this?
Seems to me they've gone all the way in there now for their dessert and coffee.
Mrs. Wilson, please serve the guests. Don't lecture them.
He looks like he's channeling Brandon.
Yeah.
I'm in quite an embarrassing position. Well, I seem to be the only one having a good time.
You and Mrs. Atmore.
What's going on, Philip?
Would you mind turning that off?
A party? Yes, but a rather peculiar party.
I wonder if they're drinking actual brandy.
Does he?
Doesn't he?
Not that I know.
Oh, come now.
I don't. Why don't you ask Brandon?
He's too busy maneuvering the other 2 points of the triangle. What for? Just what is Brandon trying to do with Janet and Kenneth? So far off the track?
There's nothing going on at all, Rupert.
God, he's like so suspicious.
Brandon dreamt that up. For the sake of a very unfunny joke.
No, he didn't. And if you'll think back very carefully, you'll realize that I know he didn't.
I was at that dinner.
I can't play with that thing.
I want you to have them very much. No. Please, I know you appreciate first editions far more than I, Mr. Kentley.
It's really very nice of you, Brandon.
Using the rope that he murdered his son.
It's a clumsy way of tying them up, that's all. David never had any trouble taking care of himself.
Why would he mention tying up? He's just like literally drawing attention to it. That's so funny.
But I prefer manners to femininity.
If he hadn't mentioned that, then he wouldn't have drawn attention to the way
I
of
feel
tying.
like Brandon shouldn't have mentioned the story, the
At
whole
all.
murder
Yeah.
thing at the beginning at all. In the middle.
Oh, it must be Alice. I'll talk to her, Henry.
Down the hall to your left, dear.
Thank you.
The first step.
The way everyone talks about
Yeah.
it.
David, I remember, was very polite as well as very punctual.
He hasn't changed.
He might be in a number of places. Or maybe he went down to Janet's. Why? Perhaps he decided to pick her
Oh
up.
boy.
I phoned my place.
She's gonna put him back in the chest.
Don't you think it would help if we found out where he was?
Yes.
I suppose so.
I know he went to the club this afternoon to play tennis.
Suppose you or Brandon were, Philip.
No.
Boy.
Hardly. We had our hands.
I love the tension build up here.
Yeah. They're just filming her.
And Brandon and Phil must be watching this, right?
Yes.
I'll help you with that, Miss.
Oh, thank you, Mr.
All right, Mrs. Wilson. You can put the books back when you come in to clean in the morning, but just let the books go for now.
Well, all right.
And he stuck his foot in it.
She began to cry so badly. Oh, Henry, I'm worried.
What did she say?
I have internet now, unlike then. So.
Oh, of course.
Thanks.
I'll get my hat.
Oh, going with Janet?
Yes. We're all going together.
What did I predict?
I like how both of them were,
They're all united in the hatred of Brandon.
yeah.
Mrs. Atwater, thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for letting me come.
Poor Rupert was like just thrown into this mess.
That's not yours.
Is that's David's? Oh.
Good night. Can I help you with those books, Mr. Cantley? Thanks.
To help you with those books, so he's gonna look at the rope. Maybe come back.
Could be.
That was a great reveal.
Yeah.
Still, they forgot to clean up his hat. So it's not even the perfect murder. So Rupert would be upset with them anyway, because it wasn't, like, well done. Brandon didn't think about the hat.
No, he didn't.
Thank you for...
Have you ever bothered for just 1 minute to understand how someone else might feel?
I'm not sentimental, if that's what you...
No,
Yeah, that makes
Yeah, I can tell.
And mind your P's and Q's.
Who are you calling?
Nice cut. No, they keep doing those cuts to make it look as one take.
How are they gonna bring the body down?
Better draw the curtains.
I like how it's turning dark in the back still.
Yeah.
Brandon, couldn't we pretend we're not home?
With all these lights on, answer it, Philip.
The phone doesn't ring very often, not like
Maybe
today.
he should go pick up the phone.
Yeah, Philip has like no self-control right now, and he's drunk.
Brandon, it's Rupert.
What?
He wants to come up. He says he left a cigarette case here. He wants to come up. But you know he's lying. He's caught on. He didn't leave
Shut
any...
up and get back to that phone.
Brandon, I can't.
You've got to.
No, he knows. Shut
up.
God, he's really blowing it, too.
Well, maybe if they hadn't committed any murder at the beginning.
Yeah, then he wouldn't have been like this.
But then we wouldn't have a movie.
Yeah, exactly. Like, Brandon's a calm one, but they didn't even think about the hat. That's the funny part.
Come on up. I don't know how much, if anything, Rupert knows, but I promise you, he'll be out of here in 5 minutes, one way or the other.
Foreshadowing?
No one is going to get in my way now.
Ooh.
There's been no music this entire movie, but it feels so quiet right now.
Yeah.
Tension.
Is it?
Smart, though. Arm himself.
Completely unlike me to forget it, isn't it? I suppose a psychoanalyst would say that I didn't really forget it at all. I unconsciously left.
So he knows. Yeah, for sure.
Why should I want to come back?
Yes. Why?
For the pleasure of our company, or another drink.
The last I remember having the case was when I was there. I was just going to open the chest for Mrs. Wilson when you came over. And then what? Oh, well, here it is, right where I left it. Gentlemen, I beg your pardon. I'm very sorry.
Brandon's look.
Because Brandon knows he didn't see anything there.
Yeah, of course.
Now he knows.
Why should we?
Oh boy.
Well, it's very pleasant to sit here.
He's also nervous too. Like Jimmy Stewart. Rupert, sorry.
Why, the way they're both standing over him.
You are driving up to Connecticut tonight, aren't you?
Yes, but we're all packed.
Oh, I see. All except one guest who must be gotten rid of.
Or two.
Well, I'll be off.
One guest who must be gotten rid of.
Or strange. Like this evening.
What do you mean, strange?
who often pick words for sound rather than meaning.
Unless I was thinking about David.
What was
Let's look at the chest.
Yeah, they're like, I love how they're all nervous in different ways.
Held up
in broad daylight?
That's right, I've forgotten. Yes, it must have been broad daylight when it happened.
When, suppose you or I, how would you get David out of the way?
No, you're much better at this sort of thing than I am.
No, but what would you do?
See, he's curious. He's like, that's the thing that might do him over.
David would arrive, I'd walk slowly out of the room into the hall, tell him how fine he's looking and so forth.
He's talking about what happened now, at the beginning of the movie.
Take his hat. Bring him in here.
He mentioned his hat.
He mentions the hat. Was he gonna get that?
I'd try to make...
I love it. They're like showing where he's doing.
Philip would probably play the piano.
Where did Philip go?
I'd move quietly around behind the chair and hit him on the head with something.
And where would you put him?
Well, let me see.
Ah, he's thinking about it.
Well, I think I'd get Philip to help me carry him out of the room, down the back stairs, and the two of us would put him into the car.
He's raising his voice.
Find some place to hide the body until dark.
Yes, you would, but, where, Rupert?
Yes, where?
Cat and mouse.
Philip.
Which really scares me a little.
I'm terribly sorry, Rupert. I don't blame you, but I have to take it up to the country. There have been several burglaries, and Mother's a bit on edge.
Wow, he's really good. Think of a story really fast.
I think I'll be running along.
Philip, you'll feel much better once you get out in the open air. I don't think there'll be much traffic, and we ought to make
that's why he wanted the books. So he can grab the rope.
Driving at night always is. But driving with you and Philip now might have...
Look at the red light in the back.
Those books were tied clumsily.
He's got it. He's got it. He knows. He knows. And now we're done for. Now I don't know. You made me do it, and I hate you. I hate both of us.
Drunk guy right. Oh my god, this is scary. The gun's waving around. I could shoot.
Stupid, babbling drunk. This has nothing to do with you.
It got to.
Don't.
Rupert. Got to look inside that chest.
All right. Go ahead and look.
Wow, his voice changed.
Like what you see.
The way his voice changed. Nice.
Oh, no. No. Couldn't believe it was true.
Rupert, please.
Please what?
Please what?
Just listen. Let me explain. Remember, Rupert?
Yes, I remember.
Well, that's all we've done. That's all Philip and I have done. Have lived what you and I have talked.
Wow, this is really tense.
Because you have to, don't you see? You have to.
This world and the people in it have always been dark and incomprehensible to me. And I've tried to clear my way with logic.
Oh my god.
And you've tried to twist them into a cold, logical excuse for your ugly murder. It made me ashamed of every concept I ever had of superior or inferior. And I thank you for that shame.
Because now he knows he's human.
Because now I know that we are each of us with the right to live and work and think as individuals, but with an obligation to the society we live in.
I love the red light.
By what right did you dare decide that that boy in there was inferior and therefore could be killed? Did you think you were God, Brandon? Well, I don't know what you thought or what you are, but I know what you've done. You've murdered! You're going to die, Brandon, both of you! You're going to die.
Oh. Nice. Not the dialogue, they're like talking about calling the police. The sirens, like the, not the sirens, but the lights reflecting on them. The scene over and over.
Brandon's like Tony down for murder. Have a last drink before you get arrested.
Wow.
Wow. Great acting. acting by James Stewart at the end there.
James Stewart, Jimmy Stewart, yeah.
Oh.
And that was a wild ending.
Oh, loved his monologue at the end there.
You've killed somebody.
That's
basically
he's
it.
Right. And he's like, everything that I've said, I never thought you would actually turn it into, make it into excuse to kill.
Yeah, he was like shocked hearing the...
Yeah, and you don't have the right to take someone's life away just so you could feel good. Superior.
Yeah, it's just the same shit as Hitler.
Yeah, who they've also mentioned
in the movie. It's just the same shit as Hitler. Human beings, at the end of the day, are human beings. Saying you're inferior or superior, it's just...
It aged so well, actually.
Yeah, it aged pretty well, actually. And like Jimmy Stewart's monologue about, you know, you killed a human being with hopes and dreams and love.
Yeah, who just wanted to live as a human being.
Yeah, what gives them the right to decide who's inferior or not?
Yeah, exactly.
There's no... That's just fucking ridiculous, those two. Brandon's like smugness while Philip was breaking up slowly because he killed... Yeah, he was dawning on they killed someone. While Brandon was like, didn't give a shit.
Yeah.
Like, but Philip was like really, really upset. It built up over the party.
Yep, and he finally cracked at the end there. Oh.
Brandon was cool as a cucumber, but was too cool, if that made sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was so smug about it. He reminded me a lot of Tony from Downton for Murder.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
The confidence, the smug feeling of, oh, I can get away with this murder. Very calculating.
I love how they mention it's harder to get away with kidnapping nowadays. I'm like, this is in the 40s. Now imagine even worse now, like, you know, with cell phones and everything, and anyone can record you.
True. That's true, yeah.
It's much harder now. And plus, you know, everyone carries a phone, right? So you have literal GPS coordinates to yourself if the police wanted to track you. Or someone else. Yeah. What a movie.
That hat, the review of the hat was genius. Because in a way, at the beginning, when we see them greet the guests, oh, may I take your belongings? Even though we didn't see David's hat, but we know it's already established that the characters would take their belongings and before they actually go inside.
Yeah.
So, of course, when we see the hat, it's like, whoa.
Yeah, that was so cool. And you could tell, like, River was a little troubled. Like, what's going on? And then he looks at the hat, and all the pieces all fall together at the same time. You can see it in his acting. He's like, oh, no.
He was great in this movie.
And then you could hear him as the door's closing. Let me see those books. So he's going to take the rope.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why he got bought by the strangulation story. The chicken strangling story. Brandon really wanted to get caught, in a way. Like, he kept throwing it in their face. Like, the dialogue. All his, like, hints about, oh, yeah, you know, one step in the grave. Or,
exactly.
This is like, or trying to even wheel David's girl and David's rival, I guess.
Ken.
Yeah, Kenneth for the...
Janet and Kate.
It was like so on the nose.
Yeah, he was very...
The funny thing is, though, they might actually get together now that David's dead.
That's true, yeah. That's the only thing that Brandon predicted.
And accomplished, probably.
And accomplished.
Killing a human being and causing them to fall in love with someone else.
Of course it might. Who knows, because murder changes things.
Yeah.
It was great to see Brandon sort of fall apart at the last shot there.
Oh, yeah, he was falling.
Fallen.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, ugh.
That was smart, though. He didn't kill them. He just fired in the air. Draw cops. He can explain what happened. Because even if they try to kill Ruber at that point, it would not work.
There was no point.
Brandon's mistake was throwing the gun out in the open, too. He got really cocky thinking he could get away with it.
He made so many mistakes. First of all, he shouldn't have mentioned murder.
The perfect murder, my ass. He forgot the hat, fucking everything. Blatantly throwing it in their face.
Yeah, that's how confident he was, thinking that he could get away with it and talk about murder.
His actor was really good, though.
Yeah,
did a wonderful job, me hating his ass. Philip was like a little more human.
Yeah,
I think he was falling apart through the whole movie. Yeah. Like bit by bit. It was that transformation was great.
Yes.
And as you noted, the complete lack of music through the whole movie. But it only felt like it got really quiet suddenly towards the end, as the tension ramped up.
Yeah, it's kind of funny because there's not much music other than a piano.
Yeah, and the beginning and the end.
The beginning and the end. But at the end, all the tension suddenly comes back. I guess Brandon is what you would call like a textbook...
sociopath?
Yeah, perhaps. Because he has lack of empathy. I mean, that's why he killed David. He didn't kill David for he has a bigger bank account. No, he just wanted a perfect murder.
I know.
It's a game.
It's all a game to him.
Cat and mouse, basically.
But yeah, Jimmy Stewart's monologue there at the end.
Oh, that got
where
me.
his acting was incredible.
Yeah,
like him going back and forth. He was like absolutely
seen
shocked.
Him in, like that.
Yeah. He was shocked that someone actually, you know, they did it. They took his. He was so disgusted. You could see.
Yeah.
I already knew he didn't
from
approve.
that chest.
Yeah. Everything was hitting him. You could see it, like, all on his face. I knew he wasn't going to side with them. I mean, it was already obvious. Yeah. But, like, you could see in his face, too. He's like, he was shocked that they did this.
Yeah,
like,
exactly. Like, I didn't want to believe it.
Yeah.
I hope I was crazy.
That's why he kept talking about kidnapping. You know, he's like...
Yeah, like, maybe you kidnapped him.
The camera point looking at his pocket was brilliant. Like, it was Jimmy Stewart's POV. Where, like, he's trying to think, like, how do I alarm him? Don't alarm him. Okay, let me bring up the gun. You know, stuff like that. He was nervous, too. You could see it. He was shaking.
He did say I was scared.
Yeah. Oh, man, the conviction. Yeah. Great act. Jimmy Stewart's wonderful.
Yeah, that was great. Great film. Great acting.
1948.
Great dialogue.
Man, just as gripping as today. And everything was only in one place. Yeah. The whole movie was in one place. Just kind of like 12 Angry Men.
And Down for Murder.
And Down for Murder. Down for Murder did have some stairway shots, but that's about it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And, yeah. Oh, Rear Window, technically, right? They didn't really... Yeah. They kind of stayed in the same place. But they did go out. Like, didn't it show them going out in the Rear Window?
Well, because, spoiler alert, he fell over the windowsill and everything.
Yeah, but no, didn't it go out to go dig up the...
climbing the...
Yeah. All the POV was from him, yeah. Man, Stewart's wonderful. Great cast. Very tight script. The writers had fun, you could tell, with the whole, you know, trying to work in, like, death references and murder references the whole time. Brandon was having so much fun, though. He thought he'd get away with it.
Yeah, so smug. Great film.
Yep. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed our reaction to Rope. And if you have any more similar films for us to watch in the comments below, let us know. You know, other Hitchcock films maybe we haven't seen, or other films that are similar like this.
Another Hitchcock film we've seen, To Catch a Thief.
Oh yeah, To Catch a Thief was great. Yeah, that was great. With Grace Kelly, right? And
yes.
What's the actor's name?
Was that really Cary Grant?
Yeah, that might be Cary Grant. I don't know.
Insidious with Ingrid Bergman and Cary Grant.
Yeah.
We've seen lots of Hitchcocks.
Yeah.
Wait. We've seen lots of Alfred Hitchcock films.
But yeah, if you guys have any more similar recommendations for us, let us know in the comments below. Hope you guys enjoyed our reaction to Rope.
Yes.
Thanks for watching. The full reaction will be on our Patreon. And thanks for watching. Take care and
have a good day.